This is the WellFounder Podcast.
So welcome to the show, Dax. It's an absolute pleasure having you on today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. I am pleased to be here.
Pleased to have you as well. And today we're going to be talking about what you guys do over at Hexagon, which is a very interesting company. I was actually doing a little bit of research, but eager to learn more. But before we do, could you introduce yourself to our audience? Tell us who you are and how you go into the work you do.
Definitely. I'm the founder of Hexagon IT Solutions. It's a custom software development company. We started it 16 years ago as a project that I was doing for a company. And then I realized that most of the companies, so I am from Utah in the United States. So in the United States, there is a lot of companies in the mixture where they do a lot of things, but there's not a particular vertical they choose in the custom software. So we worked with a construction company. So we chose the vertical to be construction company, and then we started getting more clients under the construction company belt. So we build, as a company, we build CRM, ERP solutions for construction companies, healthcare companies, and financial industry. Those are the three that we work with primarily. Those are three verticals we concentrate. And Hexagon started as a small startup with just me, and then we started growing. Now we have two offices in the United States, one in Utah and one in Arizona. And we also have offices in India, Dubai, and the UK at this moment. So we have developers here in the United States, but we also have developers in the UAE and in India. So that kind of gives us a capability to provide 24/7 support to our customers.
I see. So you build and then you help them manage it as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's very, very interesting. I'm thinking companies, don't they use their own, what's the most popular CRM, HubSpot or something like that? Don't they use HubSpot? Why did they come to you guys for custom CRM?
So the real estate industry is different compared to anything like HubSpot or Pipedrive or Salesforce. They have a unique way of, they need to bring in their clients and they register their clients, and then we create the whole workflow from registration all the way to final walkthrough papers. So on the CRM side, so all the campaigns can be run from there, all their texting can be done from there. So that's how we project it and we build it for them. And then we also have the option where they can look at the progress of their home, like a Domino's pizza tracker, like a pizza tracker. The home will keep going step by step. They'll be able to see when they can move into their home. So we build that workflow for them, so that clients, their home buyers, can look at their home and see, oh yeah, that's where my home is. My home is in the stage of finishing up with electrical, or they can say, oh, it is in the stage of finishing up with plumbing. So that comes with a lot of back-end build for it, but in the front end, it gives the client a seamless knowledge of where they are in the home building process when they can get into their home. So that's why the home builders or the commercial builders come to us, because we can build that workflow for them.
That is so cool. I would never have expected. This is one thing this podcast is doing for me. I'm learning so much about different businesses and different areas of specialization. I would never have thought there was a problem with managing
Uh-huh.
how a house is built and then needing a CRM to coordinate that. That is crazy. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So does that mean that for every, say, every company you work with, there's a new solution created, or do you guys have like a standard CRM?
So we have a standard CRM,
Okay.
but every company is different. Every company's logic is different. Every company's
Mm.
workflow is different. So we don't replicate the same workflow everywhere.
Ah,
That's the custom side of things. So
mm,
we go in and build everything in for them. So like they would say, hey, we want to make sure the customer pays X amount of money before we get into this stage, or there are companies that would say they need to pay an initial amount and then the final amount needs to be, we need to start processing those paperworks and loans around this time of our, like if the home takes 110 to 150 days to build, for instance, they might say we would like to start talking to the customer around 130th day. That gives them the option to close their home on time, so the loans and all those paperwork that they can process, or if the builder is helping them to find facilitate that loan process. So those conversations and um, alerts that will go to the customer is all the customer and the builder. All those are built by us.
crazy. How big is your team, by the way? I know you said you have all these offices pretty much all over
Um,
the world, but yeah.
So we have about 130 developers that are spread between United States, India, and UAE. And then uh, we have project managers and operational and all that. So we are about 145 right now as a entire
Whoa.
company, spread out in four different regions right now. We are growing, but we definitely look for more projects that we can work with, more new customers. So to keep us up and running, we do need more customers.
That is crazy. I mean, it's a team that big. I'm surprised you said you're still looking for customers. So later on I'll ask you future plans. So obviously there's plans for growth. I'm thinking though, how big is that market? Like, do you work with? I guess you could work with any real estate or any ideal client from anywhere in the world as far as they fit in that industry.
That's true. Like the software that we have can be implemented to any country's real estate.
Okay.
But there will be a lot of, like if you go from United States to the UK, the entire measuring the system changes, right?
Hmm.
We're like you are in the SI system, we are in the American system, so we need to change those metrics, and then the way the UK real estate or the builders call each of those tasks are different. So there's that whole transformation of what United States calls might not be the same in the UK or India or the UAE. UAE is a complete different beast, even though they are like if you look at it, they have so many skyscrapers all around the country. But when you start working with some of the builders there, you will realize like technology wise, that's not true. Even though they build these skyscrapers, they're still using legacy systems,
Hmm.
which kind of doesn't give them enough KPIs, but they still want to use it just because of the brand. They'll say
Hmm.
like, "Oh, we only work with brands of this caliber," and you're sitting there and thinking when you talk to them, so that doesn't even give you what you're looking for, and they're like, "Yeah, that is true, but yeah, we like to work with brands." So
I was gonna ask because I like to ask my guests, like, if you could describe a customer that needs your services, like, what problems are they going through, then, and how do you help them with that solution? But I'm guessing, like you said, they use legacy software, or maybe they're even using spreadsheets or something like that to do this stuff like that. Yeah.
so that's a great question. every country, if you look, has a unique way of doing their their projects, home
Mm,
builds or construction building process. One thing that we found very common is they don't want to change
mm,
just because the transformation is a long process. Once they do the transformation, they like the process what they are doing, but transformation is something that they don't want to get into.
mm,
But the value that we are bringing in is the clarity of the statuses of those buildings that they're building, and the other significant add-on that we bring in is the cost.
mm.
So what a lot of these builders, they want to deliver something, right? They want to deliver a building. They don't they pay. It means accounting tracks lots of things, but accounting is not going to report saying, hey, so and so, like if you have built 10 buildings or 100 buildings or 500 buildings, and you're constantly having issues with windows, that particular vendor who's supplying the windows is not doing a great job. That clarity doesn't come out on a legacy system.
I
So
see.
that's where we come in and say, hey, look at what we can do for you. Is like we can pinpoint and say where you're losing money and where you're making money. So do you want to concentrate on where you're making money than losing money, or do you want to change this vendor, or do you want to change the process? So
Mm.
that is something that they don't get on a legacy system. That's something that we bring into the market for them, and we pull that out for them so they can have clarity.
And I can see how valuable that is. It's such a unique USP for them. So that's where it's
Mm-hmm.
different. This is what makes us different from. Oh, I see. I can see that. So let's say, actually, what is your biggest way? As in, what have you found successful getting these guys? Or are you guys doing a lot of outreach, advertising? What does that look like for you?
So we do multi-channel outreach. So we have SDRs who cold call. We do email marketing. We do social media marketing, like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and TikTok. All those. Our
Mm,
marketing department takes care of all those things. A lot of these customers whom we have conversations with, what they're looking for is is how to stabilize their processes
mm,
and how to build fast,
mm,
and where their roadblocks are, and how to remove those roadblocks. So implementing a system, construction ERP or construction CRM system, actually brings that to light of where the roadblocks are, and how they can eradicate these roadblocks so they can actually flow smoothly. So that's that's what we present. When we present to anybody, one of the primary things we want to understand is what their pain points are, and how we can provide a solution for those pain points.
I see. And one final question before we wrap up. I'm curious to know how long do you deliver for clients? Say you onboard a client today, and then how long before delivering the software for them?
So it's somewhere between 60 to 90 days,
Mm,
but it also depends on how, like, they have to let us know what the workflow is,
mm,
because the software will only do what it is tend to do. But if they don't give the workflow, if they don't tell us like, hey, this is our process, right? A to Z, this is our process. How can you optimize this process? That's where we can put the system and say, this is the workflow, and this is how the system works, and
mm.
this is how it can optimize. But it all depends on the client. If they have availability to help us to do the discovery with them, we take about 3 to 4 hours of discovery usually. So once we have that discovery done, then we will create a flow chart of
Mm.
what the process is. Once they agree to that process and they approve that, then we implement that in the software for their process. And then from there, we help them, like we sit with them, make sure that they understand each and every step, how the system works. And if there is any anomaly that we need to include, we include those. And then once all that is ironed out, then it goes into full production mode. And we provide 24/7 support, and we try to make sure that they're always supported and taken care.
What's the future plans for Hexagon? What do you,
So
what's,
what we're trying to do is we're trying to implement AI in the process right now. So, like, instead of somebody trying to go in and see a report where their roadblocks are and what is more expensive, where they're losing money, they can interact with their data and get that information instead of like going and checking a report, because a lot of them really don't understand the report. Um, it, More so in the construction industry, in the executive level, a lot of them look for only certain uh, KPI. It's not like they're going to look the entire set of KPIs. They're looking for exact like 3 or 4 or 5 sets of KPIs that they can determine where their company is. So we are trying to build an AI tool that can actually give that information, and they can interact with their data and get that information for themselves. That's our plan right now.
very, very cool. I mean, everybody's adding AI to their software these days, and if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Dax, as we wrap up, you built a really not many entrepreneurs can boast of building 100+ team member companies. So I'm sure you've learned so much in building that. I always like to ask my guests for a final tip. Say, if you could advise an entrepreneur earlier on, a founder earlier on their building journey, what would you say to them?
The primary, like trying to, if you're thinking to build a business, right? Um, the most important thing that you need to keep in mind is customer is the king,
Mm,
even in the software business, right? Money, money can be the next thing. That's like your end goal. Like making more money is an end goal, but if you are not taking care of your customers, if you're not like helping them to solve their business problems, whatever you're building, whatever you're trying to do will make no sense to them. The solution that you're providing needs to solve their problem, and the customer needs to be happy. That's the primary underlying factor. If that cannot be achieved, then you can never be successful.
love it. Perfect way to wrap up. Dax, this has been an awesome, awesome chat. You've given us a really good insight into what you guys do at Hexagon. And if any of our viewers would like to learn more about you guys, possibly work with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can fill out the form on our website, or they can email me at DAKS at hexagonitsolutions.com. Or info@hexagonitsolutions.com. Either myself or one of our engineers will contact them.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute blast.
Thank you, Ravi.